What's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Yesterday, I talked about 5 common defense mistakes that people make when kicks are thrown at them. Today, we are talking about 5 common mistakes that are made on defense when somebody punches at you. Both of these episodes are important. If you missed yesterday's, make sure you check that out. Let's roll the intro and get this episode underway. So defense for punches. When somebody lacks this, they making mistakes over and over, I love it. Whether I'm fighting them or sparring them, it's so easy for people to have little lapses in judgment or not have these down correctly, and they just become a punching bag. Makes my life so much easier. But we don't want you guys making that mistake. We're gonna correct anything today, which I see very often. The first one, which is so common, is when somebody throws straight punches and the other person's on defense and they go to start parrying, they reach. They start pawing away on those shots, and what happens is it opens up, or my immediate reaction is to go, okay, I'm gonna throw the jab, they're gonna overreach, which means, look what happens. I reach, now the side of my head is completely exposed and it takes a long time to draw that back. So the conclusion should be fake a straight punch and on the same hand, come around where they're open. Very, very dangerous, very easy to land on somebody. Give them a jab, fake and come around, it's gonna land like 9 out of 10 times if you see somebody pawing away. What you want to see from the side is just that, because now my hand can go here and get right back to that hook defense position promptly. Nobody's gonna land on you if you keep those hands snug and parry across just in front of the arm that is still guarding your head. Another very common mistake, and this is for people who are very beginner level, but something that's very common, is they think 2 hands go to block punches. And you need to remember that when you block shots coming with the hands, not the legs, but only the hands, if I see a punch come here, it's 1 hand, 1 hand, 1 hand, 1 hand, never ever 2 hands to block a shot. You don't need that. It's what's going to keep you safe, is remembering that you have to have 1 hand blocking and the other one ready for the next potential punch. The only time where 2 hands will come into play is if the person comes right up the center and you decide just to do a little turtle shell. That's okay. But it's not like I'm doing anything extra with my hands where I'm actually reaching and compromising myself in a different position, because if I take 2 hands and I reach over here, now this side of my head is exposed. But this is very simple. So keep this in mind. If you're a beginner, remember practicing 1 hand moves at a time for the defensive aspects of punches coming at you. And before we move on to point number 3 of common mistakes in boxing defense, I would like to thank the sponsor of this episode, XMartial. I am wearing all their gear today. Super awesome, flashy stuff. If you want that, they also have a very basic, normal fight attire, but I'm actually really a fan of these. I think these are fantastic shorts, fantastic shirt. I wear these all the time when I go and train. They feel great, and if you're not looking for apparel, there is other gear on their site, whether you want boxing gloves, shin pads, you need streetwear, there's just a whole selection. So head over to XMartial.com. That will be down in the description below, and use that promo code Gabriel10 to save 10%. And now let's move on to point number 3. And we are talking about when people fade their head from side to side to deal with straight punches which are coming at them. The thing that I don't like, which a lot of people do, is if you see me from the side, they lean only to the side instead of forgetting I can slip and have my head go forward, or I could slip and have my head go back. Do not limit yourself to just thinking I'm going only side to side. The advantage of tipping my head forward as I slip is it now pulls me closer to their head, closer within range, so now the counter uppercut is that much easier. If I slip and I fade, I give myself lots of distance, lots of margin for error in case they land, but now again from here, I can use my whole body to jump back into the shot. I think of all the options, forward slip, side slip, and backward slip. I think the side slip is one of the weaker of those options, so I would advise trying to pick the angles forward and back as you engage that little knee bend and drop your weight to the side. Point number 4, which we're talking about today, is when somebody throws a shot at your body. Very common mistake, arm drops. I hate when I see this, and it happens all the time. People go, oh my gosh, my body, and they forget about engaging their legs. They forget about curling the body. Look what happens as I curl here. I drop basically my shoulder, my lat towards my hip, and I can get right down there, block everything, and I don't have to compromise my head. But if I start thinking block, it's only a matter of time till somebody goes, oh, I'm faking down to the body, and they rip up to the head, or they go 1, 2, and they catch you before you can get your hand back up. So the simple answer to this is just think shoulder to hip, get it as close as you can, and just take that elbow right down to protect your entire body. In addition, you have a great counter uppercut or a counter hook out of that spot. So making sure you get that on point will make your life so much easier, so you do not expose your head and get that second punch catching you in the jaw. And the final mistake that I want to talk about, and this is just me introducing a new technique, but it's basically forgetting to catch punches. So at the beginning of the episode, I said a lot of times people reach when they parry. I like to do tight parries, but an alternative is putting my hand just up the middle and catching those straight shots. People don't do this, and I think it is a massive mistake, especially if you have somebody who's fast and they have long arms. I can just keep my hands here. I see the punch come, and I just put my hand right up the middle, and I catch with the palm. This basically stuffs the shot before it hits that maximum power point. When I throw, power is building, 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 and right around there to me is when it starts to really max out. So if somebody stuffs it right around here and they catch a palm, they're not going to be hitting that hard, and you go here, you have your big counter shot if you want it. So if your hands are up, catch, catch. Just play around with that. You are not going to be exposing your jaw to the hook in the same way because you're not letting them come within that distance where their jab to hook is really dangerous. If I'm parrying and I'm reaching too far, that's bad. If I come up the middle here, it's much safer in my opinion. So try to utilize this hand catching, almost pawing technique. You see a shot come, boom, boom, just there. And it works so well. And I think it's a massive mistake that people, gyms, coaches are not training this more. You will see Olympic style boxers do this a lot, and they make it look so fantastic. And as soon as I watch them, I go, oh, I gotta add this in. I gotta start utilizing it. So there is the episode, everybody. 5 mistakes that I see people make in boxing defense. If you enjoyed the episode, please give it a like. If you have not already, join the channel, get subscribed. As always, train hard. I will see you back here soon for another video.